Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Not only from Nepal, we can see the participants coming from abroad as well. So the mode of instructions in this presentation will be English to make sure that all the participants will get an overview what we are going to talk about today. And thanks for joining us. There are people joining us again, and we will starting in a few minutes. Our speaker is with us, Ms. Manisha Dwa, who joined Nepal Astronomical Society in 2013, and since then she has been producing wonderful astrophotos with her limited resources. The more from her site, so you can check out about us page in our website to know more about her, and also the event sections where I put little bit intro of her so that you can know her before joining this session. With this small note, I would like to welcome today for the presentation Ms. Manisha Dwa for introduction to basic astrophotography. Manisha Dwa, welcome to our webinar. Some
Hello.
technical glitches.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Manisha, please go ahead.
Okay, so shall I start?
Please, yes, the show is yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Namaste. It's a wonderful morning today, isn't it? And we are here. I'm so happy to see your enthusiasm and your interest in astrophotography and be here actually in time. Thank you so much for that once again. After all, we share the same sky. So I would like to start my presentation. I would love to take the questions at the end of the presentation, but like in between, you can just like type your questions in the chat room, and I would love to answer at the end. Is that fine? Okay, so let's start. So in front of you, I think you have the screen in which a girl is looking through a binocular. Actually, that's not a telescope. And I wanted to take the picture of her with the binoculars. It was during one of our astronomy Olympiad close camp. And I was trying to take a picture. And luckily, we got to capture the Milky Way behind her. And there is one meteor too. So let's start. So what is astrophotography? As you can see, like it is comprised of two words, astro and photography. So I think most of us who are here could themselves define it or explain it, like what it actually means. So it is photographing the night sky, the celestial bodies through the gear that you have, the cameras. So before you know what astrophotography is, I think we should go for what is photography. So in photography, generally we collect photons. So it's all the light plays. Okay. So coming back to astrophotography, as I was searching for it, like when the first photograph, first astrophotography like started, and I found it like it was taken in 1840, and the picture was of the moon. The moon means the Earth moon. And then I calculated and found out like I started my astrophotography journey in like 2010 or 11. So like you can see the gap between these two journey. Okay, so below like I have two pictures, and those are my first pictures, not exactly the first. I know, like, I have some more pictures of the moon taken, but they are some from our worlds. I didn't get the first one, but some from the worlds that I took in 2013 October, when I had already joined Nepal Astronomical Society. So these two pictures are like maybe a few minutes or few seconds apart, because they are of the same moon, but you can see the difference in these two pictures, right? So like, it is because like they have two different settings, and that was because I was just playing with my camera uh, and some of the settings. So at the time, I had taken this picture. They are actually handheld, so I didn't had tripod or anything through which like I could like put my camera on. So they are handheld pictures. Yeah, in the second picture, like, you can see a reflection. That was because I had no idea how to do the proper setup to not have the reflection actually. So let's start. Let me give you some tips and tricks on astrophotography technique. So before we start this, it is very important for all of us to have camera with us. So it doesn't matter which camera you have got, because as I have like written here, what is the best camera for astrophotography? I used to ask the same question to some of the experts that I used to meet before. And even now, people used to ask me like, which is the best camera? Honestly, I don't know which is the best camera for astrophotography, because I think the camera that you own is the best camera, because that is like from that is what like you are going to take picture with, right? uh, and moreover, you know everything about your camera. It is quite like you know it best. They are like your best friend. So if I'm taking picture, I have Canon 600D since 2000, since I started my astrophotography journey, like, and I haven't upgraded yet, except for adding some lenses in my collection. So that is the best camera for me. If I'm taking some good pictures and like someone wants to give me the latest cameras like the Mark 3 and all, um, I will mess up everything. I won't be able to take a very good picture out of that, because I might not know at the time like how to handle it properly. So the camera that you have is the best camera. Okay, so you can even try it with your mobile phones as well, because mobile phones these days have a lot of features that will help you to take cameras. And I have some of my friends like who are the world class astrophotographers, and they have been taking some of the pictures through their camera, and they are like stupendous, you know. They're very good. But it's still the camera that I have, the mobile phone that I have, like I can't take that kind of picture, because the budget, like the budget in which I buy my mobile phone, it doesn't have that kind of feature. But it's still like it is ISO control, and similarly we have some exposure values here. So I can take some, but not as my DSLR takes the picture. It is because of the sensor. Okay, so my camera is a crop sensor, so like doesn't matter which lens I use, I don't get the perfect frame for that. Similarly, like we have different cameras like a mobile phone, and some of you might be having the best mobile phone like available right now. But like it is because of the sensor, like you may not get sometimes the best result that you want to achieve. Okay, so knowing about your camera, the main thing that you have to take care of are the aperture, shutter speed, ISO, and sensor. I already explained about it to you. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so are you ready to learn how to take photos? Okay, so we will be sharing this presentation later on as well. Maybe this one is also being recorded. So for the basic settings, about like how to take the night photos is like you have to know the condition of the light, because during night doesn't matter how much light sources are there, it is not as it is the amount of light is not like as like we have in the day. So we have to play with the three major settings I already mentioned to you: ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. And yes, while taking picture, you are recommended to take pictures in raw format. Um, and you have to know the night sky. You have to have basic idea of night sky, so that like you can plan what you want to take, how to take, and where to take, and what is your focus. Okay, like you want to take a picture of a moon, or you want to take a picture of a landscape, or similarly you want to take the picture of some other celestial happenings or celestial bodies. So that should be your prime focus. So talking about raw format, I got my camera. Let me go back to a little history and some interesting story that I had. My friend actually gifted me the camera, and when I say so, like everyone is like, "Oh, your ex-boyfriend" or something like that. To be honest, it was a girl, lady, who gave me this camera, because she was getting married, and she was my best friend, and she was moving to Singapore with her husband. And I asked her like, if you ever think about me, I don't need anything ever in life, but like, please get me a camera. Doesn't matter, it has to be very fancy or anything, just a camera. And like her husband, he was very thankful to me, like for having me as a friend of his wife. So they actually gave this camera to me. So at the first, while I was taking pictures, and I was trying to copy that in my mobile, not even editing in Photoshop, copying in my mobile, not mobile, in laptop. I saw two different files. You know, one was in one of the file there used to be picture. I could see that in another file, like it was, I don't know, it was something else. And I was like, oh my gosh, my card has got viruses, and see, it is making two copies of every pictures that I'm taking. You know, and I had no idea like what I was going through. And I used to delete all the raw format pictures at the time. And later on I got to I started taking picture, and I didn't have actually all these internet facilities that we have right now. And YouTube was like, oh, what is YouTube? It is like, you know, I had no idea about that. So later on I got to meet with some of my friends, and they told me what raw format was. Then I was like, oh my god, the mistake that I had made. So I don't want you to repeat the mistake that I did. So whenever you are taking picture, take pictures in raw format. It doesn't matter whichever picture, like even if during the day or if during the night, that could be very important moments being captured, and you can work on it in for like post processing very well. So now it's time to know what are the requirements for astrophotography. So first of all, the thing that you need is camera, preferably a DSLR, or you can even have mirrorless cameras. And next thing, of course, you need to have lenses. So for landscape photography and for structurals, we prefer wide angle lens. So at least we can have 1855 mm. Generally, we get this while buying a camera. We have this in like our kit lens set. So we also need to have some telephoto lenses for specific photographs like moon, or like some planets. Similarly, you need to have a stable tripod. Okay, so tripod have to be stable. And most of the time, stable tripods ought to be kind of heavy. So like if you are going for photograph somewhere in the dark areas, you know, it's better to have a heavy and good tripod, so that like you can use it for your protection as well. And it not necessarily means that you need to buy some branded one, but like the tripod has to be stable. You know, you can get it for low budget as well, and you can always hang a bag with some stones, so that it will become more stable, and like it won't shake, you know. Similarly, you need to have a shutter release. So shutter release is remote. You can have a cabled one, or you can have remote type of shutter release. We can have a different so we can have different uh, sorry okay, so yeah, like DIYs videos that you can see, like how can we take picture of night sky even if you don't have shutter release. And I tried that one time, but like that didn't work so well, because you have to prepare very well for that. So having shutter release is like getting rid of all the troubles that can happen, and you don't need to stay with the camera all the time, you know. You can just lock your shutter release, and like you can give time to your camera, and it will be taking picture, especially during, because if you want to take a picture in bulb mode and you want to take continuous shot, shutter release is a must. Next thing is power sources. Have a very good and very well charged batteries. I have battery grips, in which like I have two. It takes two batteries at a time, and apart from that, I always used to have a couple of batteries, charged batteries, with me, and charger I always used to carry with me. So power sources is very important. You can have the electricity power sources as well, but I don't use it. And last time I was asking to some of my mentors and friends about like how to, like if I can use all these electricity sources, and they said like you can have it, but you don't know like when it will like when your the fluctuation can damage your camera, and like it is electricity source, they are kind of limited, you know, so you can't carry the wires and everywhere you go. Yeah, so you should have good power sources as well. Similarly, we have the story device over here. um okay, so storage device is a must. You can have a very good, you should have a good storage device, because for astrophotography, as I already mentioned, that we better take a picture in raw format, and the file are quite big, you know. So we should have a very good storage device as well as backup as well. And you need to have basic knowledge on night sky as well, because if you don't know the night sky, then whatever you take, like that might not be giving a good result, right? And mainly the thing that you need for astrophotography is passion, and you should have interest and enthusiasm, because like whenever you're taking picture, like you have to wait for and you have patience as well, you know, because like you might not get the result every single time you want to take. I have been through this kind of situation many times, and I have to like go to many places for the same thing, and I have failed miserably as well. So these are the requirements that you need for the astrophotography. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so how to take photos. Everyone, we want to get the best photos. So for that, first of all, we have to look at the best spot that we want to take picture with. So it depends upon your interest, where you want to take the picture and what you want to get in the frame. And similarly, you should know the best time to take the picture. Like if it is about like celestial bodies and objects, it has some certain times in which you have to take the pictures. It's not like you can take uh, like the picture of Venus in the midnight or something like that, you know. So you have to know the best time. So for that, you need to have a basic concept of astronomy and night sky. And yes, you have to set your camera in manual mode. Um, you can take your picture with in the auto mode or like with the flashes on. So manual mode is the most. Once I went to one astrophotography class, and our instructor, he told us to like take the picture in manual mode, and I was like doing that since the time I had camera in my hand. And other participants, they were like, most of them were like Indian friends, and they were like, "अरे देखो ये तो manual पे photo खींचती है," you know. So manual mode is the must because you can't take back astrophotography in auto or any other mode. Like sometimes you might feel like let's take picture of like this meteor shower or meteor falling in sports mode, or no, you can't do that. So next most important thing is your focus. Time enough, and it is very hard to focus here, focus on the thing that you want to. So you have to focus that extremely well, and then you can go for some text exposure. I already told you, like you have to play with this ISO shutter speed and similarly the aperture, and then boom, you can take the pictures. Okay, so like here I'm going to give you some hints on focusing techniques as well. If you are doing landscape photography, or if you're trying to take the picture of star trail, and you may not get some brightest star in your view. So at the time, what you can do is like you can focus on the brightest thing, like on the opposite side of like you can have some villages in which like they are having some lights, or like you can look for the distant light object, and you can focus on that. And depending upon that, you can focus, you can work on your focus. Similarly, uh, what you can do is like whenever I just give some shots, you know, and hello.
It seems we got some technical issues. Can you do that presentation again, Manisha?
Just a minute. Okay. Okay.
Great.
So yeah. So like the next way is like you can just give some shots, and then you can find for the brightest star, or let's say Jupiter, you know, you can focus these things in live view. We can turn the light view on, and we can zoom the brightest star or brightest object, and then we can focus it through the focus tree. That's why you can, that's the way like you can focus better. And most of the time it is like, um, people generally ask me like, how can you focus a star, or let's say a Venus perfectly. So it is like you go to the best part where you go the pinpoint, and you have to work very slowly with a lot of patience, and like you can get it. So like talking about settings, as I told you, like astrophotography, we have different criteria. So talking about the landscape astrophotography, we have to have the low shutter speed because we need to collect more amount of light. So like it can go from fraction of seconds to longer exposures as well. So I generally do not go for bulb mode when it comes to landscape astrophotography, but like in case of star trails, yes. And we can adjust the aperture. Like during the day, we can go for like 12 to 22 value, aperture value, but during the night it can be like less than 4.5. Sometimes I used to take picture and 3 or 2.8 or something like that, less than 4.5. Similarly, we can have a highest ISO here. I would like to talk something about ISO, because in most of the time, like whenever I talk to some of my friends or some of the photographers, and they are like, oh no, you can't you can increase the ISO because that is going to bring a lot of noises in your picture and that is going to destroy it, but like not always the case is same, because it depends upon the condition, light condition, and what you are taking picture of, so like you can always play with these three magic numbers. Similarly, when it comes to moon photography, it depends upon the phase of the moon. So the moon is here, the Earth moon. So when it comes to full moon, like it is very much illuminated, so you have to adjust your setting accordingly. Similarly, like if you're taking the picture of new moon, the light is very low. So like it depends upon the phase of the moon, how much light it is like illuminating. So when it comes to moon photography, let me talk about the full moon. So if I want to get the, because as compared to other celestial object, moon, you can see the moon like moving very fast, so in low shutter speed you can always have the blurry image of the moon. So most of the time what I used to do is I keep my I keep my ISO like remarkably high, and then I even increase the shutter speed, so like in a very short fraction of time, very small fraction of time, it can take a good the click, and then we can get a good picture of the moon. If you have ever tried in the live view mode, you can see how fast the moon is like the moving, right? So similarly, here we come for star trail. In landscape photography, let me come back to landscape photography. We most of the time we look for the pinpoint object, right? So we want to get more stars in our background. Like even in case of Milky Way, we have some landscapes, and then like we have Milky Way overhead. So we would like to have. We do not want trail. So I generally take pictures in like around 8 to 10 seconds, and in that and I try to manage the ISO and aperture accordingly, keeping the shutter speed constant. So talking about the star trail, for star trail, it is not necessarily we need to have a pinpoint star. So it's okay, like if we have a small movement of star capture. So star trail actually is the path of the star, path the star has moved. So so in the picture you can see like a circular kind of figure, but always it is you don't need to take a picture in this frame condition, because like according to the four direction of the earth, we can get different and interesting picture. So it depends like what you want to focus your photo into. Like if you want to take some let's say some images or statues, it doesn't matter like, oh, like this is not like I cannot take the picture of the particular thing from the southern east so that I can have a full star behind. So like it depends upon what you choose. So generally in the southern direction you can get more like straight trails going on, and it is a bit different in the east and west side as well. So you can go for long exposure. My first star trail, I didn't know it was a star trail, but like I wanted to get this line kind of image, picture. So like it was a 16-minute exposure, like in 2012, 2013, something like that. I don't know the year exactly. And it was a 16-minute exposure, but like with a 16-minute exposure, you can get your picture more bright, and like the star trail may vanish. So the picture, like you can see here, it is almost an hour exposure. I took multiple images of like 15 seconds or 15 seconds or so, but you can go for a little bit longer exposures as well, and I stack them. So you can always play with the ISO. I already told you. So like we generally take multiple images and stack all these images together using Photoshop or Lightroom. So this is from my home. During the lockdown, I took the picture. So, okay, I'm sharing with you some of the images from my vault. So the first one is the moon. And the second one, like you can see only this orange ball, but like it is a picture of the Mercury transit. There is a little shadow of Mercury over the sun. I took this picture in 2016 during May. Similarly, the third picture is of the Milky Way. I'm not so good in editing the Milky Way pictures. So, and even my laptop is quite old and it doesn't support the picture the softwares very well. This is all I can get. And the last one is of the meteor shower that we took for farming. And yes, to take this meteor shot, this shot, like we had already spent about a big chunk of money because we were trying it from many places before we could get this picture. And yeah. So yeah, you can see the picture. I think I'm very bad with remembering the dates, like when I take the picture. But I took the picture of this Mount Matsapusre from the low camp, Mardi Himal Trek low camp, and it was like around 4 in the morning. It was very cold, but like I managed to get up and woke up and like took this picture, and you can see the Great Bear uh, beside Mount Matsapusre, right? Similarly, the next picture, it is from the place where I was living last year, from Kathmandu itself, and we had the lunar eclipse, and we had Mars 2 at the time. So talking about this kind of pictures, this is a picture of Geminite meteor shower that I took from Nagarkot, because for me Nagarkot is one of the nearest and not so best, but like for the for time being the best place for me from where I can take some night picture with the landscape. But still in this picture the landscape is not quite so well taken, but like I had some meteor shower. And just to let you know, like in this picture, this is not a single exposure. So excuse me. So okay, so it is like under the same frame. We took. Is everything okay? So can you see the slide? Okay. Just a minute. Let me try again. Okay. Now can you no? Now can you see? Oh my God. Okay. So let me explain. Is that fine? Okay, so in this picture, it is the same frame, but different pictures compiled together. So we have this great bear again rising over here. Um, so like it is a compiled image in which like multiple meteor had been compiled in a single frame, but like this is the perfect exact position where they were. So Yeah, so this is one kind of images. So like even in this image, like you can see, these are the pictures of lunar eclipse on the left side and solar eclipse on the right side. So these are the composite images, okay, like this one, this composites of different this meteors together. And similarly in this picture, in a like single frame, we took the different phases the bodies had gone through, and we compiled them in a single frame. um, so it is very different, like the sun and the moon, they have different like okay, so the sun and the moon, like they have different light condition. So in case of the solar eclipse on your right hand, I use the solar filter, but before I used to take the picture in a very high shutter speed and very low ISO and aperture, which was actually harmful for my camera. You know, it was not a good idea, but like I had no idea. That's why like how I used to take the pictures. And yes, I used to get the similar kind of color, but in this case I use the solar filter to take the picture. And in a limited shutter speed and other condition, I took the pictures. So these are two pictures. But like all the pictures, they have same settings. Like for the moon, it is like at the same settings, and for the sun it was the same setting. But in this picture there are different pictures, and they were brought together and aligned to give a good frame that like that speaks about complete eclipse phenomena. So here also, like we have a picture of the full moon, and it was the super moon, also known as pink moon, which is not pink at all. And like you can see different medias and many people sharing completely a pink color moon, which is actually not true. So we took this picture through our 8-inch depth union that we have in our office. And I took this picture not with my camera, because like I'm still not doing my DIY with my Canon 600D, but I took this picture with the help of my mobile camera. And on the right hand side, we had this moon and Venus coming together, and it was like lighting up in the sky very beautifully. So we took the picture and we share it with like I just shared this one. But still, if you want to see more pictures, like you can find me in Instagram, it's CosmoGirlMD. And like you are always free to ask me any question you want to. Whatever I know, I will like we have very happy to share it with you. So, okay, since I think you got some insights and some ways how you can take a pictures, right? So, like if you have some pictures, or if you want to take some pictures, and if you feel it like, oh, this one is good enough that I can share, you can. We have an opportunity. We are calling for astrophotos. You can send us your photos that we would like to showcase it on the online astrophoto exhibition, in which the photographers from China, Nepal, and India will be sending their pictures, and we are showing the picture. Like it will be an exhibition. So like we have this information even in our page, NASO page. You can go for it, and you can send us your picture, and the selected pictures will be showcased in the exhibition. And this is a very good opportunity where you can start, you know, if you have not yet started. So thank you. I don't know the time, but I think I'm feeling hungry. Yes. So I love cooking. So there are many people, like I was like, putting pictures of food, and even sometimes my parents, they are used to asking me like, why these pictures and all, why are you spending so much money, this and that, in UV and one in physics you are cooking and this and that. But sorry, I love cooking. That's one of the passion that like gets me stress free, and I feel happy the people around me being like eating all the foods, you know. Look, so I'm looking for this right now. Okay, so I will take some questions. uh, Okay, so Suresh, if you have selected some questions, you can. Uh, okay, so Mop. Okay, I will start from the last questions. Okay, how do you take picture of big moon and man or tree in front of the moon with same size? Is it possible or just a Photoshop work? Okay, so okay, so like even I try to take this kind of picture in one single shot, but for that you need to do a lot of effort, you know. For example, if I want to take a picture of a big moon with someone, or like some foreground that is equally the size of the moon, it needs to be very far away from us, you know. So so that like we can get these two things in a single frame. Like you can see some like a tree, you know, covering the moon or something like that, you know. So for that you need to work with the angles. And in case of like having like someone like the subject like yeah, subject someone in front of the moon or like in between the moon, like some of them are photoshopped. Yes. 600D with what lens? Okay, from Bharat. Okay, Bharat. So
Manisha, can you open your camera, please? So
okay, okay,
that's good.
okay. So I'll be looking question on this direction. Okay, just a minute. Um, just a minute. Okay, so it depends upon what you are taking pictures with. In case of moon, I used to take the pictures with 55 250 but you can go for bigger telephoto lenses as well if you want to. But in case of the last Star Trail, I took it from 14 but my camera is a crop sensor, I already told you. So the picture, um, uh, sorry, so like the picture is not a real 14, the frame is not like the real 14 could cover. Cooking ma पनि webinar, haha. Okay, if you want to, I would love to. I tried making तर फेरि last lara, I stopped that. Okay, so we can have already gastronomy new word. Yeah, like we can already always have new words. Thank you, Hukum. Good information. I know Miloji, like I haven't covered like each and everything. I might have like left something that I might need to share with you. So like later on you can write me in my Insta page, or like Insta page will be a better one, because like messenger I used to have a lot of messages, so I just don't go for it most of the time. Image of the surface of the moon. Yeah, that is a good one, but like you can have better images and better picture of the moon as well. I'm actually taking picture with whatever resources I have. The only thing that I could, we can also use the use trackers, but like my tripod didn't work well, so like I couldn't take some of the like I couldn't take pictures with a tracker, which is like in myself, you know, itself. Um, hmm. Hi, Monica. Can we take the? Yes, I had taken picture of Andromeda with my 1855 during the first time that I was taking picture of the moon. No, of the night sky. It was like in 15-second exposure or something like that. At the time, the sky quality of the Pokhara was very good. It's still good, better than Kathmandu, but at the time, like a few years before, it was still wonderful. And moreover, we used to have a lot of load shedding, so I had a patchy structure of Andromeda taken at the time. But I have some bigger images of Andromeda that I took during one of my projects, astrophotography projects. You can look for it in my Insta page. And I even have a very good picture of Orion Nebula. But if I want to take a picture of Orion Nebula right now from here, we can take some. You can like very clearly find out like, okay, yeah, this is the Orion Nebula. Okay, so with whatever lens I have, let me go for a few more questions. 60D. Okay, Bharat, I think I already told you, like, Sanjay Shrestha, how is composite shot taken? Okay, for composite shot, we generally have the same frame, but we take many images. In case of the meteor shower, we just we took the same frame, and like we try to we just took the pictures of the meteors from different frames, and like we just bring them to the same frame, and like they are almost like they are at the same place where they ought to be. Okay, but in case of moon and sun, we took different images, you know, because like my camera, my lens, they couldn't cover the whole process. So like we were taking all the pictures one by one, and then we create, like we create a layer, and in there, like according to the phases, so we are used to keeping the objects aligned. That's how you get this kind of composite image. So there are two kind of composite images. Okay. Separate images with same setting and come. Okay. I think Utsav, that was you answering to your friend, right, Sanjay? Akash Maharjan. What okay, for meteor shower, this meteor shower, the last one I use 14 mm, but the first one from Farfing, you saw this Goomba, a meteor like falling behind a Goomba. I think no, I used 1855, so it was an 18 mm. But as I already mentioned you, my camera is a crop sensor, so like it might be something about 24 mm frame. Okay. Mm, if you okay, scroll, thank you. Okay, so Nishal Khanal, you have written about the white balance. So like I generally used to take pictures in like in whatever the condition is there, like in the camera, and basically like I don't change this white balance. But during the day, like if it's too sunny or something like that, I used to change them. But like you can take a picture with your camera, and later on while editing you can always change your white balance, you know. It gives different light effect. I took the Milky Way picture from Nagarkot, Akash, but like if you want to take a picture right now, you can even get some pictures from Kathmandu. It's not as clear as that one, but like you can take, because I tried last time in the middle of the lockdown 1 month before, and I got a picture. Okay. Thank you, Abhay Limbu. Sorry for the issues with the screen sharing. Like it was okay here, but then okay. Mm, okay. Yogis Gautam, yes, it is not an easy job, but like if you have passion to do so, like you can do it, you know. Like for me being a woman, it was very hard for me sometimes before, you know, like and most of the time when you are taking pictures, when you are shooting like in the like at around 2 p.m. and you can feel your health being degraded, generally most of the time you have the issue with this gastrics thing and all, you know. And sometimes things could be very hard, but like that is not going to stop me. If you have passion, like such kind of things doesn't stops you, you know. Uh-huh. Polar center person, okay. Yep. Okay, so I will have some recent questions as well, right? How much budget should we have roughly to be an astrophotographer? It depends, like if you want to, what kind of camera you want to have. Sometimes you can even lend from, you can borrow, no, borrow from some of your friends, and you can use it. What are the best location for capturing sky from Kathmandu? Right now, your rooftop, And it is better like if your rooftop you have a tall buildings, in that case like light coming from other buildings can be like doesn't disturbs you to that extent when you have houses around you of the same height. These things are disturbing me, Monica. So which season place is the best? Not in the rainy season, not in the cloudy season. So most of the time winter season are the best, and it is very hard to take picture during the winter season. And like talking about like Nagarkot or the nearest area, but we have a lot of rivers flowing through like each and every like hills, and like you can see the cloud keep on covering. You have to wait like almost crazily. Sometimes you get nothing at all. But I could never, no, I could take the address. I never could adjust. Okay, Bharat, can you please like give me some exif detail with some of the pictures that you have taken? That way, like I can help you. You can email me. You can email me, or you can just send me the pictures in my Insta, or like, yeah, you can write directly to me. Okay. Okay, so for the app, you can go for Stellarium, or and similarly, you have some very handy app for mobile that you can use. Most of the photographers use the telescope. No. For this deep sky photography, we have to use the telescope, but not like all the time, because you can't. We are flooded with questions like we need telescope to see the meteor shower, this and that. But sorry, you can't see meteor shower or landscapes or Milky Way through telescope. For deep sky photography, yes, you need telescope for sure. Can we submit the work? Oh yes, sure, Utsav, please do that. Bharat, the moon photograph you have shown previously, has it been taken from the 60? Yeah, exactly. I have taken from 55 to 50 mm. Okay, what you need to do is like set your ISO high. Okay, it will be very bright. Now you set your shutter speed. Bharat, I'm talking to you. So set your shutter speed also to a very high number. Like you can go for even 1,000 as well. Okay, and you can take a picture. Okay, for that, like as I told you about focusing, you just go to the live view, and you zoom it out, and you focus on the perfect part where you want to focus, and that way you can take a very good picture. High ISO, high shutter speed.
Okay, Manisha, I think you should take a small break in between. It's really exciting to see so many questions coming up, and people are very eager to know how you do it. And as we advertise about the webinar, that you'll be sharing your experiences and what you are actually doing today. And we are still looking for a few more questions in between. Yeah, I saw that someone is writing that don't panic, nervous, and get some glass of water. You can do that in between if you like. And at the same time, I would like to ask the participants to write their questions. I can saw that the Vairav Ali has written some questions that how do you plan to promote mobile astrophotography? I think I will answer that
Sure,
from my side. Actually, I did mobile astrophotography back in 2009 and submitted my work to international competition as well, where it did not receive any prize. It was done with mobile Nokia 2700. I think C was also the last 2700 mobile set. I think it's now the obsolete one. And people said that it was very, very interesting and innovative way of taking photographs. So I took photos of Charumati Bihar and the Jupiter rising above it. So that was my submission to Galilean Nights, probably I think in 2009 October. So yes, we do promote nowadays. We have very nice photographs can be produced through mobile cameras. I have seen that some of our friends in Tuan, the Wallet Nights, are producing wonderful photos, and other friends as well with mobiles, because mobiles have come up with very nice features, many many apps inbuilt, and also there are different apps which you can use to create nice astrophotos as well. So, but when you do that, please make sure you don't play with nature, natural, the sense, like Manisha explained before, that we had a lot of news about pink moon, and then people started putting their moons pink color, which is actually not pink in the sky. So we should avoid such kinds of falsifications of information, and we strictly do not promote such photography as well. Okay. Besides that, yes, explore your facilities, explore your options within the mobile phones you have, and if you can purchase new one, try to buy one and look for, because Manisha explained that ISO. So look for mobile phones that supports the highest ISO possible. Cameras, look for the cameras that gives you zoom effect, that has, like wide features in your camera. So if it has wide angle camera lenses, that's fantastic. So optics plays quite amazing role in camera. And as Manisha presented before, the sensors has major role doing photography, and especially in astrophotography. So you can do through mobile phone, but you don't get the quality of doing with Mark first, second, or third with mobile, of course, but definitely better than for not doing anything. Please, Manisha.
Okay, Akash Moharjan, my recommendation, because I have used the cheap wide angle lens will be Samyang. I have 14 mm Samyang lens. You can try that. That is quite good, for wide angle. And Monica, Suresh, would you like to reply to Monica?
What was her question?
So could you please tell a little more about night sky, like how to know Venus, Jupiter, Mercury?
Well, I think there was some exchange between. So, but the best way to know the night sky is go out and watch it. Okay, observe. The continuity makes you, well known to the sky. There is no shortcut to know the night sky, but there is shortcut to know the sky, in a sense that even it's cloudy, you can know the night sky using softwares like Stellarium, which we have been promoting for a long time in the country, and many groups has adopted using Stellarium, teaching night sky to science teachers, amateur astronomers, photographers in a couple of years time. So you can try Stellarium.
Okay, so my answer to Hukum Rajburathoki, we need Photoshop not to change the picture completely, but to enhance the pictures. Okay, so like whenever my pictures RONB shares, like there are many questions like, oh, see, like this is not a real picture or something like that. But that is actually the real photos that has been captured by my camera under certain settings. So like if you go for like some pictures of nebula or something, like always it is not the same. Like in different light condition, you see all the picture different. So we need we Photoshop no, we use Photoshop just to enhance the picture. We play with some contrast. We do not use we do not change the pictures completely. Sometimes we need to get some kind of sharpness at the time we use them. Okay, I prefer to buy. Okay, Vairav, yeah, you can go get some good mobile phone, because sometimes it is very sensible to invest on mobile phone, because you want to get a camera or phone, but a lot of things, So I think Huawei has the recent Huawei has a very good version from which you can take good astrophotography. You can go for it, but like in some cases, if I have to suggest you, is like if you are paying a lot of money on phone, only if you want to take the picture, you better opt for some simple cameras that you can always start with, and you can go with the very simplest version of the DSLRs. No need to go for this Mark III or whatever, you can do best photography with the simplest camera you can buy. But like, yeah, you can opt for mobile phone as well. Okay, so I think now it's time for gastronomy. I'm getting really hungry because I didn't had breakfast in the morning as well. Mary, thank you
Okay.
so much for being here. Thank you so much. Uh, Same sky.
Thank you, Manisha, for a wonderful time. It was wonderful having you sharing all your experiences. And at the end, we are almost at the end. So please note that if you go to astrophotography, staying out night, do not go alone. Take your friends with you. Okay. So because you'll be dealing with extreme situation, so you might need some help, and we don't want you to get lost somewhere, getting caught by some diseases or some illness, and there will be no one to support you. So make sure you at least have an assistant or friend be with you. Yeah, please.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so at the end, thank you so much everyone for joining and listening to me. I'm just sharing with you like whatever I know, and okay. So I'm always ready to help you by any means I can. Just you need to have your interest in the things, and especially to the girls. I don't know how many girls are over here. Uh, let's work together and let's rise together. No, for everyone, but especially for the girls, okay? I can give some kind of reservation.
Okay, thank you.
So
Thank you for your time, and thank you all for joining. This is being recorded, so it will be put in our YouTube channel. So please note down our YouTube channel if you have not subscribed yet. You can go to YouTube and search Nepal Astronomical Society, or you can go to your browser and search youtube.com/NASO Nepal. So
and
if
yes,
you find you
and my Insta account as well.
Yes, yes. So you can also follow Manisha Dwa in Instagram. Just look for Cosmo Girl MD. You might have known this name for a long time, but you can also follow directly from Instagram to her and send your queries to her directly. Okay. Besides, you can
Thank
send your
you.
queries always to NASO. Thanks
Thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us,
Thank
and
you.
have a wonderful day. Thank you.